Girl, let's get into it. Every week, I'm breaking down the who, the what, and the how we made all of my looks for RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18. To start things off, this is gonna be a little bit of a different episode since we're doing sort of a 2-for-1 this week. As you saw, our design challenge materials were recycled, questionable, and my outfit that I made on the show did not come home with me in the same shape that it walked down the runway. And let's be honest, while the concept was cool, some of the paper bag materials meant that maybe this wasn't the fiercest outfit. Give me some fabric and I'll give you what you like. But I'm a crafter, I'm a maker, so I was determined to make it work. Let's dial it back and let's get into the inspirations that led to this creation on the runway. For our first runway, I knew I had to still introduce the judges to who I am as an artist. The other judges didn't see my entrance look, so they have to get a sense of who I am as an artist. That I love comic books, superheroes, supervillains, I'm artsy, I'm not afraid to be a little alien ooky spooky, I'm not afraid to play with gender, all of these things in my head as I'm looking at a pile of paper bags. Looking at the color palette that I had, I felt like I could take inspiration from X-Men, so that sort of was the first direction that I ran with my sketch. Now, I think that I could do this look a little bit better, and I'm gonna prove that to you. Using recycled materials from my stock of fabric and props, I'm going to redo my reuse, recycle, rejoy, renew, whatever the name of this challenge was, and give you a sickening look. Let's check out how I remade this. Good morning, it's a new day in the workroom. Like I mentioned, this is sort of an atypical version of this video because in order for it to be photo shoot ready, we have to remake our outfit. As you saw, what I designed on the show was made from paper, and the only parts that really came home successfully without like wrinkles and damage too terribly are the things that were glued to my face. Not an outfit. So, we've got to do another design challenge ourselves. And we were using unconventional materials, recycled goods, etc. There wasn't a whole lot of fabric available. Well, not to me at least. Other people seem to find some. And I don't have like a ton of trash just here at home, but I want to also redo a version of the outfit that I made. So to sort of honor the challenge and the constraints that were there, I am going to recycle fabric scraps that I have from other outfits I've made in the past. My hope is that I do not need to buy anything except for maybe like thread. And even that I should be okay. So I went on a scavenger hunt in my basement, i.e. the drag dungeon, and just sort of gathered any scraps that were in the color palette that I was working with. So let's see what I found. Right. So you saw that I went for like a blue-skinned alien supervillain kind of look. So while I did grab some blue fabrics for us to look at, I also grabbed some nude stretch fabric that I might use for a nude illusion, because this is sort of an opportunity for me to redo, maybe revamp, reduce, recycle, reduce, renew, recycle, revamp my design a little bit. And I think maybe I have an opportunity to show a little bit more skin in the outfit, just in a few spots. So I went ahead and grabbed, this is like just some nude stretch. Now admittedly with Joanne's closing, I don't have my favorite nude that like matches my skin tone and is the right texture. So some of these don't really love, but grabbed them. This one is probably the closest. It's like a bathing suit stretch material, but it doesn't really look like skin. So none of these are really speaking to me. This is like maybe 2 yards, but I grabbed them and I had some synthetic Rit dye in teal. Tropical teal, sorry. So if I needed to like customize the color, I could do that. Now, I did have some blue stretch. This is almost like a neoprene-esque type material. Obviously it's been used. I don't remember what I used this for, because this is not the same fabric as my Stars and Stripes season 12. This might be pre-Ciara Myst. Don't remember, I've slept since then. Additionally, I had scraps of this like two-way stretch. It's like a faux vinyl, leathery kind of teal color. And I think this looks the most like skin. So I like this for maybe a few panels of having that show in the outfit. Granted, we're working with scraps, but that's part of my drag. We use what we have and we make it work. So we're gonna make it work. On to the yellow. So the yellows that I found are this like stretch spandex. This is from, I did like a Country Bears bachelorette party and I made this like Country Bears inspired outfit. So a little bit left of her. I have a yellow satin in 2 different shades. This is from a Pride outfit. Then I've got a little bit of this like yellow netting. This is from, I think I had tested this on like my season 15 recreation, but it's not super stretchy. And then I've got 2 different sort of like stretch PVC vinyl yellows. This one is a little bit more of like a marigold orange color. It's still yellow, and then this one is more like a Crayola yellow. This one's probably closer to what I ended up with on the show, versus this one's maybe a little bit more like X-Men superhero, maybe what I had in mind. So we'll take a look at how much we have of each of these. We might end up using both, but I definitely have, oh god, I have more of this shade, but admittedly there might be holes cut out of it, because I think this one might be really old and from my All-Stars 1 recreation, and this bright yellow is probably more recent from the season 15. I also have just like a few scraps of this like leather piping, but this is tough to work with and it is not stretch at all, so I don't know if that's the right thing for this outfit. Black fabrics. Okay, every drag queen has a lot of black fabric, I'm sure, especially if you're kind of ooky spooky like me, or a little rock and roll, a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. So I've got shreds of this black neoprene that I used in my season 16 outfit. This is just like a little scoochy tip around that I had just like in the back of the closet. It's like a little peplum leather jacket. I was really excited to dig these out of the drag dungeon. These are just some knee pads, but I think they can add some cool texture and depth. Okay, I've got these pre-made stretch pleathery leggings. So a lot of pre-made black options in here. I think that might be cheating, but we're recycling. I think the fabrics we have the most of are going to be a shiny, glossy, like PVC kind of look. This is what I used for the leggings for my entrance look on this episode. I use this type of fabric all the time. I've got some scraps of this. It's a very wet look. See, here's more scraps. And more scraps. Oh, okay, so we've got quite a bit of that. Like I said, I use that a lot, so that it's not all just from the entrance look, I promise. Similar, but like a little gayer, is this like oil slick. This is from a body paint gig I was hired for a couple years ago. Could be cool to use her in some spots because the reflect is like multicolored, but I don't have a lot of this. From that same kind of Pride superhero outfit, I've got just like this like shiny black kind of basic stretch. And then I've got, this is non-stretch, so it may be less helpful, but I've got a bunch of leather. This is also from my season 15 recreation. I made like a biker jacket and some boots. This was like a test on a boot. But I have a whole unopened piece of that. 2 yards, non-stretch. So a couple of different textures with the black fabrics. And last but not least, the silver metallic-y kind of sci-fi fabrics. So on the show, I did this thing which really seemed to like goop people, I guess. I took pool noodles and emergency Mylar blankets, and I ironed the Mylar blankets so they were warm and wrinkle-free, and then stretched that over the pool noodles to create this, to sculpt essentially a metallic look over the shapes of the pool noodles, which I could like cut and heat form. I do have plenty of pool noodles here. I also have lots of EVA foam here at the house. I don't think I have Mylar emergency blankets, but I do have some fabric options in here that I think can work, and we'll just do some of the same techniques to hopefully achieve a cleaner effect. But I've got, from that same Pride look a couple years ago, this like gay silver. So this is like metallic with a rainbow reflect. Lots of just like different chunks of her. And I had started on, this is actually a bodysuit. I think we may do some similar techniques with this, with what I think is going to be the winner is some of this chrome vinyl leather. So this, I don't have a ton of it, but I can iron these wrinkles out, and I think we may just have enough for some detailing. Now this is non-stretch, so that's where for the armor parts, like something up on the shoulders or on the hips like I had, I think that could work great. But for stretchy options, more of the gay fabric. Okay, so we've got a good amount of the gay stretch. That's 4-way. I also have this which is just like a little sequin dot essentially, but like a micro. So it does actually read fairly metallic under the lights. Similarly, from one of my DragCon looks, I have a bunch of leftover silver contact paper, chrome. So I think for small details or even recreating some of the stuff that I built around my face, this is going to be the ticket. And then last but not least, this stretch sequin is a fabric that I love. I built an outfit for my burlesque debut in this, but it reads a little too sequiny, even though it does give metallic with the black base. It's not quite like the same as this. And I think this is going to be the winner, and so this might just not ring true for the look. And then, like I said, I have a bunch of like accoutrements around the house, whether that's different craft cosplay type of tools. So I think I've got Warbler still. I definitely have like 2 big rolls of EVA foam left over. I've got a bunch of zip ties. These are just some small ones that I found, but I know there's more other places. And then maybe the coolest thing that I dug up was this EL wire. This is from years ago, like probably over a decade. Oh my God, probably over a decade. You can't really see it, but this lights up. And I had a version back then that I'm remembering now that was like a better orangey golden yellow. This is very much like highlighter yellow, which is maybe too neon for what I'm going for, but could be a cool effect. I also have that in blue, which that could be cool as well. But I only have 1 pack of the batteries. So if we decide to use that in the design, I might have to purchase a splitter. So we will see. Don't know if that breaks the rules that we're making up right now. Lastly, I've got this baby shark umbrella that I think we stole during a pride parade. I don't know where this came from, but we just had it. Unfortunately though, it only has 6 prongs, and I don't feel great about destroying some of my actual umbrellas that I need because it's literally raining right now. So I do think that we're gonna have to take a trip to Goodwill in order to get umbrellas, since the claws were such a feature in my outfit and in Vita's outfit. Okay, we are in the Goodwill. We are looking for umbrellas. But I went to the Goodwill over by the beauty supply store because they usually have better donations. And sometimes you just gotta browse, you just gotta browse. Okay. If I was an umbrella, I'd be with like home. Okay, I'm over here. Wait, that was kinda, no, that's ugly. It's not cute, it's ugly. Sometimes there's like stuff from the 80s that I love to find at Goodwill. And sometimes it's really cute and sometimes it's really not. Okay. Umbrella. Okay. These are bags. Okay. Okay, wait, but like, she's kind of cool. Not necessarily for what we're doing, but I feel like, okay, now I'm gonna have to hunt. To Goodwill hunting. Is that why they called it that in the movie? Goodwill Hunting? I don't know, I've never seen that movie. Okay, this is not looking good. I'm gonna have to go to a different Goodwill. Didn't want to do that. I wanted the Goodwill gods on my side. Striking out at the Goodwill. Don't love that. Okay, let's check one of these other places over here, just in case. Okay, this is Pearl's drag fashion closet, where she goes to Goodwill and she buys the fabric. And honestly, okay, there's some cool stuff. Well, cool for Goodwill, let's calm down, but okay, but no umbrellas. Right. Okay. I think we're gonna have to go to a different Goodwill for sure. Ugh, I didn't want to do that. I went to this one for a reason. Ow! Let me check. That's like scarves. Okay, hold on. I feel like this could be, look, there's an umbrella on this thing. But like, is there an actual umbrella here? I'm gonna get in here. Okay, wait, hold on. I see something. Oh, okay, this is a fake out. This, what is this? It's an umbrella hat. Shut up. It's an umbrella hat. Okay, that's funny. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spokes. But it's smaller than the other one I have. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. So we're in the same. Okay, hold on. Ooh, girl. She doesn't wanna go. That's scary. Okay, now. I have another umbrella at home that is the same size as this one. And the one that I saw was small. Or the one that I have is small. But I think that I could go ahead and just use the one I have. Not the blue one. I have a different one that I didn't show you because it's actually a nice umbrella. But we'll get another umbrella eventually. But we have an umbrella if we need one. Okay, let's attach this. Oh, Mr. Chipmunk! And then we're using the same oil slick fabric that we used on the front and the back of the bodysuit. Ugh, that looks so good in the sun! Time to start snipping. Okay, by snipping, I clearly meant sewing. Here I'm making a more structured version of the skirt using that yellow satin fabric as a lining and adding this horsehair to give a lot more dimension and wave at the bottom of this. The elastic that I put at the top is gonna help keep it cinched to my waist, and we're gonna place it a little bit lower on the body to elongate the torso, but we're gonna make this skirt a lot shorter. Scooch. All right, lube isn't just for butt stuff, sometimes it's for your sewing machine too. Working with any of these vinyl fabrics, you cannot let them stick to your machine. It will not sew. So you gotta lube it up, baby. And there's a boot. And we've got a hip. I'm using that silver fabric to create a piping effect. Okay, wait, my black thread is kind of running low. How much thread do we have left? Are we gonna make it? Okay, but the geometry... No, we didn't make it! That's okay, it's time to switch to yellow thread anyways. So I still have to make the chrome shoulder piece, and then we're gonna do this for the hip, so that will help. I'm gonna hopefully add just a little bit of chrome embellishment overall, and then if I have time and the willpower, which is dwindling, I want to airbrush just some of the blue areas so they have a little bit more dimensionality to them, but we will see. So on the whole, not mad at it. There's a few spots here and there, so don't stare too closely. We're gonna, I'm moving around, but on the whole, for just whipping this out, not mad at it. Okay, time to get into the fabrication. This is my favorite part. Okay, let's take a nap.
2 hours later.
For airbrushing projects like this, I use golden high flow acrylic paints. You can find these at Michael's usually, or online. I'm mixing white, teal, and ultramarine blue to create this sort of highlight color, and my goal is to just add a little bit of depth and dimension, since it's a beautiful color, but maybe a little bit dark for my skin tone, so we need to break it up so that way this is a little bit more of like a mid-tone contour color. Okay, I gave myself 24 hours, not like consecutive, I guess, over the last 2 days, but had to break it up because of shows, to remake and redesign a little bit my first design challenge look, using all supplies that I had already here at the house. The only thing that I had to buy was a second umbrella so I could use it to make the claws for my gloves again. But all of this was fabric and craft supplies that I already had at the house. These are knee pads. I did have pool noodles, but I was like, I like this little addition a little bit better. So yeah, hopefully a little bit more feminine and elegant, but we're shooting this on Sunday. And that's how I revamped my Redo, Reuse, Renew, Rejoice, Recycle supervillain look. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, bye.